Incorporated, visitors. Mr. Dondero?
Yes. Couple things here. I know said on your agenda you've got coastal resiliency planning. I'm not sure what that is, but there's a lot of concern along the shoreline. I have to tell you, property owners. Several meetings ago, you folks adopted the natural hazard mitigation plan, and in conjunction with that, there's also sea level rise study in that. And I don't know if you guys realize that, but all of these things can lead to, or will be leading to, zoning regulations that could very well further the decline in property values along the shore. I don't know if you understand that, but I'm sure you do. But with FEMA's, several years ago, FEMA insisted, I guess, that planning zoning adopt the regulations that if you improve your house more than 50%, you have to bring everything up to code. And that didn't sound too bad then, because what's it mean? New windows and things like that. But now with FEMA, along with that, you have to raise your house to new elevations, which is maybe 14 feet now, depending on where you are. It's a tremendous cost, you know, $100,000 or more, okay? And with natural hazard mitigation plan, there's recommendations in there that regulations be imposed that can go as far as denying building permits for people living in not storm flood areas, but sea level rise areas. Okay, now that's Route 1 all the way to the shore, and where we are, housing sales have dropped drastically. You know, people losing value in their properties because of this, and I'm not sure that. In any case, I'm not sure it's understood that that's going to have a severe impact on property values in this town. Okay, and I think you have to understand that because, you know, when this 50% rule came up, a large group of us protested at the zoning meeting, and we just, you know, we've explained that FEMA requires this, and I'm sure from you folks' standpoint, if you don't do some of these regulation changes, you might not get some FEMA money for maybe some road repairs or other things. That's, you know, that's pennies compared to the hundreds of dollars.
It actually affects your insurance if the town doesn't adopt this stuff.
You know, and the reason the values go down is because right now, if someone wants to sell their property and it's not raised to the 14-foot level, even if they raise it to the 9-foot level or the 12-foot level, okay, they have trouble even getting a mortgage, the new buyers, or they're hit with a huge FEMA if they want to insure it. $10,000 a year or more, okay? Tremendous. So this is a big impact. I don't think it was realized way back when that 50% rule was imposed. And even when you folks adopted this natural hazard mitigation plan, that's not just a deadpan plan that you've adopted that has no impacts. It has tremendous impacts if you read every bit of it. So I just want to make that clear. I know I'm very concerned, and so are people that live down there that have been trying to sell their homes and whatnot. Or even that have mortgages, and all of a sudden they're hit with huge FEMA fees that they can't afford.
I don't think the National Hazard Mitigation Plan will affect that. I think regardless of whether we have that plan or not, the banks are the ones that are driving that bus. It's not just here.
No, but the bottom line is that if you look at that plan, I'm sure you all have, there's a whole bunch of recommendations.
Oh, I read it.
And once you go, and what happens is, once you approve it, you send it to planning and zoning. And say, here, this is the plan that we've approved.
They don't have to act on everything.
Well, I know they don't, but all I'm getting at is, I think both the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance will be very concerned about what goes on at those meetings. I attended one of the meetings, okay? And it was suggested by the chairman, Kravitz, that maybe they should put together an ad hoc committee. And the 3 super environmentalists that were there that were suggesting giving the town a hand on that plan, the engineering person quickly downplayed that. She said, well, I don't think we should want to do that. You don't really want to have ad hoc committee. This ought to be something that have the individual from Yale or the other environmentalists that were there be the people that are providing information to that committee. Scary. That's all I'm saying. Scary. Should be concerned. That's going to have a big effect.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Leo? All right. You're on the hot seat. Alan, Christina, you want to jump in after that?
I'll jump in. I sent you, I put in your files at least, copies of natural hazard mitigation not that, a workshop
Yeah.
on hazards and community resilience, done by the Nature Conservancy for Fairfield. They're going around the state and doing free workshops, which really take a look, bring together the employees of the town who know the sites where issues are, whether it's road flooding or culvert size or seawall problems, and bring them together with representatives of people like the community groups, the associations, the marina owners, and really ask the questions, what are the critical areas in town? What should we be looking at over time? They sort of pick up where the natural hazard mitigation plan goes on. But the good thing about this and what it generally leads to, which is a kind of coastal resilience plan, is it's not nothing that's mandated at this point in time. So it gives the town a chance, the people in the town a chance to figure out a strategy, basically, before the government comes and says, these are the rules and regulations. We can do whatever we want, we can put in it whatever we want, there are no parameters to it, it can say what it wants to say, you can make any assumptions you want about the rise in sea level or the increasing intensity of storms, which are the issues that this tries to address, and try to get ahead of the curve. Because I understand the problem that the homeowners face. I look at the marinas and say, we have 9 marinas in town, and how are they going to deal with the problems that are there? How are they going to survive them? And, you know, we have a lot of ratables south of the surge, sort of south, I guess you'd say south of the storm surge line, including Route 1. And, you know, it's our future in a sense. And this is not something that mandates anything, but it says, okay, these are critical areas, critical issues, whether it's infrastructural issues or protecting investments in the area. And that's what it is. And this is free workshops. It's being done all over. They're doing Old Lyme soon. They have 13 in process in the next 2 months. And again, it's towns taking advantage of this opportunity. The only cost of the town is the cost of the town employees. They generally do these things in the early afternoon or something like that, and they ask the employees to come, and the town has to assume that this is part, you know, assume the cost of the town employees. All the other costs are met by the Nature Conservancy. And, you know, they would probably get to us in January sometime. And I just wanted the, you know, board to, I guess, to authorize it, really. I don't know what kind of resolution was required.
No, we would, you know, do you guys have any problem with them coming here and doing it? No, not at all.
But, and I think the important thing is, and, you know, Dick was the first, I gotta tell you, but Dick was, when I wanted to have that first workshop, Christine and I talked about it. We talked to the experts who work on these things, and the first people I invited, and I made, and, you know, I wrote in copies of everything and gave it to Dick for distribution. This will only work if we're all involved in the process. And that's really what it amounts to.
And we talked about maybe a Thursday, sometime in the afternoon on Thursday.
It's like
when
a
we're here
2-day
late.
workshop.
Yeah.
It's 2 afternoons generally. They come in, they, you know, they make a presentation about the structure, or the kinds of issues they want to look at. There's discussion, then they bring a report back the next day. It's like a charrette, basically. They bring the report back the next day, and they prioritize the items that have been identified in there. And they'll really start with the natural hazard plan. And if you want to make, and I think we probably should, because we have so much capital invested, you know, private investment in the storm surge area, I think you actually make that a priority. And, you know, and I've talked to Willie about the impact that I see it happening already on property values, and it's going to show up in our grand list big time. You know, these sales are happening at, you know, there was a sale a couple of weeks ago that was at half the price half the original asking price of the property. You know,
Right.
it's gonna show up on the grand list, and if we don't figure out how we're gonna do this, we're gonna lose a big chunk of our grand list. So I just offer that as a suggestion to the board, and I'd be glad to take care of arranging it with the Nature Conservancy.
Okay.
And there I want to say the least ideal, you know, yes, they believe in the science that the seas are rising and storms are getting more intense. They believe that. But starting from, they give you the option. They have a model. It's the model that's used all over the place to kind of project the impact of sea level rises and intensification of storms. It's the model everybody uses, whatever your political persuasion, because you can interject into that model any data that you want. You can say, this is the kind of assumption that we're going to work on. Guilford has already done it. Old Saybrook is working on it. You know, what this generally leads to is the formation of a committee. Old Saybrook has just set up that committee. Westbrook has a statement in their town plan of conservation that they're going to set one up, basically. It's getting ahead of the curve on this whole issue. Thank you.
Good. All right, motion authorized going forward with it?
So moved.
Second on it? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, abstention, motion carries. Very good.